Alright, so CinemaSins is taking another shot at another Shrek movie. And considering that in some Death Battle, it's some Everything Wrong With series, like Deadpool 2 and Lion King, they hate fart jokes, apparently, because it's unintelligent humor, or it just insults the intelligence. Nowadays, I can kind of see why, but gas jokes can be funny, but they're not fans of it, apparently. And if the Shrek series likes to make these jokes, then CinemaSins is just gonna send the fuck out of those movies, even though the first two films are classics. The last two films, not so much. They're pretty much down in the dumps from everyone. And yeah, I enjoyed the first two. The second one mostly. I mean, some people are like, no, don't see the first two, they're perfect movies. And then when CinemaSins gets to Shrek the Third and stuff, they're like, okay, yeah. They deserve center, go right ahead. But this is the final movie of the series, the Shrek series. It didn't go out with a big bang, unfortunately. I mean, the one scene that I kind of like the most is when Shrek scares the village with that copyright song playing in the background. I don't know why, but that copyright song just makes that scene.
33 seconds of logo!
Once upon a time, a long time ago,
Movie rehashes the preface to the first movie with some narrating. Narrate-hashing?
a king and a queen had a beautiful daughter named Fiona.
God damn, this is the fourth movie in this franchise. Do you really think we need a refresher? Why does this animation seem so sucky? This feels like a cutscene from Civilization 3, which came out 9 years before this movie.
But to put our daughter's life in the hands of this person?
Conversation that should have already happened while riding in the carriage, and most certainly before they got in the carriage, takes place just before they make their deal.
He's...
Rumpelstiltskin!
Oh, me sideways.
So you'll put an end to our daughter's curse?
Jesus, what a king. The movie acts like he's a good father because he's so distraught his daughter is stuck living in a castle as a prisoner to some dragon. But I see a king who just sold out all the people in the entire kingdom just to hug his kid again. Dick.
Your Highness, the princess, she's been saved!
So wait, while the stuff in the first Shrek movie was happening, the king and queen went to some faraway place to sign away their kingdom to get Fiona back? Shrek saved Fiona, and I guess someone from Farquaad's place ran to tell the king and queen, only to find out they had left, and I suppose the king and queen's journey to Rumpel's camp to sign away the kingdom was well known because the messenger was able to track them down to their exact spot and tell them just in time that Fiona was saved.
Sir, you're gonna have to pay for that.
That's funny and all, but did Rumpel walk into a bookstore just to read about some he already knew happened?
Nobody needs your deals anymore, Grumple Stinky Pants!
Grumple Stinky Pants. They should have called this movie Shrek for Never Laughter. Why would there have been a need to nail an entirely different block on this sign with an S written on it? There was plenty of room to draw an S on the sign.
Happily?
Ever.
After.
Close enough. Roll the credits, get me a tea time 30 minutes from now, and tell my wife to start heating a hot tub up.
Look, a shooting star.
Fiona sees the shooting star before it actually shows up in the frame. DreamWorks. Pee, but it's actually a fish being squeezed by the baby. That's the joke, which is weird, because babies actually do pee on their parents while changing diapers. And fish do not have lots of water in their bellies that can be squeezed out. And this might be the laziest Shrek movie since Shrek. This scene is a repeat of the last one, to show you that Shrek's days are settling into a familiar routine. But what I'm worried about is a character like Puss in Boots, who seems to have no life other than hanging with Shrek. And here's the third one. This isn't Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, Happy Death Day, or Russian Doll. This is just beating you with a dead Shrek. Two of these three babies are drinking out of squashes or gourds, which do not have enough moisture to drink from. I'm giving that third baby with the red pumpkin thing a pass, but I'm not happy about it. So he's older now and misses being younger, and this is a midlife crisis story crammed into the Shrek universe? That's not fun. That's boring. Just let me watch City Slickers again. Why does this exist?
Looks like you forgot the candle.
Shrek Forever After puts us through this anxiety-inducing birthday party where everything is going wrong and there's this little bastard who's like the where's the baby dude from Shrek the Third. It's almost like nobody trusted the last 4 minutes of the movie to tell us that Shrek was in a rut, and they went over the top, aggravating. If you're laughing at this scene, you're part of the problem. I actually don't know what the problem is, but I'll get back to you.
Are there any cupcakes?
I ate some too. They have lollipops. No, I ate some.
F***ing pigs. I feel like this would have to have happened on so many previous occasions that it should be predictable and preventable, but whatever. The fourth Shrek movie's got a movie.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. It's not like you're a real ogre.
That's ogreist.
You have 3 beautiful children.
He does not. Me. Was this asshat just scrounging for garbage outside the Shrek household at the perfect time? Did he have any reason to be here, or is this a giant-ass coincidence? How did Rumpel set this up before Shrek got here? He was hiding behind these barrels when Shrek started taking his anger walk, and it would have required him running to his carriage, getting a goose to carry at max speed to this spot, pulling off a wheel, and making it look like he was stuck underneath with very little time. And even if that's possible, how did he know this is how far Shrek would sulk?
I'm gonna give you a ride. It's the least I could do after all you've done for me.
Shrek falls for this because Shrek is super selfish right now, 4 movies into being the hero that saves the day. Movie makes a joke about Shrek being lured in with a drink and then getting drunk before he realizes it, and Shrek is smarter than that. He's also physically too large to get drunk on 6 eyeball teenies. This ogre for a day contract uses English for the title and then all gibberish in the contract's main body.
It'll be just like the good old days, when you're swamped with your castle.
What Rumble is offering is basically peace and quiet for a day, and I feel like Shrek could accomplish this by making a deal with Fiona, like married couples do. But in movie world, if you have one argument, there's absolutely no recourse. You either have to endure annoying every day, or you have to sign a shady magical contract from a guy you met in a forest.
I think I fell on my keys.
First off, what f***ing keys, asshole? Second up, didn't we retire that joke in the 90s? I think we retired that joke in the 90s. I guess this means the bride was as big as Shrek, so everybody at the service was fooled. And the hidden reason for Shrek somehow taking the bride's place is that he ate her, right? Picnic tick. Pick tick. Tick pick. F***ing with cats for no reason is a legit metric for detecting serial killer behavior. Just FYI. How the f*** did Shrek get in his cart and put watermelons all over himself? And sure, it's a cartoon, but I feel like Shrek wouldn't go this far just to scare one asshole. Shrek goes all X Games. Shrek's Games? Jesus Christ, how many wanted posters do you have to put up in one section of forest?
Fiona, are you in there?
This is Shrek, It's a Wonderful Life. It's weird to me that the protagonists of these movies think anything is the same after being provided proof that it's not. Like in the first 10-15 minutes, don't you think you'd realize that the world is not the same anymore? That there's no way Fiona is in this tree stump, and that somehow Mary never found a suitor despite looking like Donna Reed? Yeah, I guess George Bailey was right to question that. But all the other stuff? Yeah. The director said, let's make that witch throw a grenade that looks like an apple. It'll make her look like even more of an asshole. So the deal with Rumple changed
Fucking apple sins.
history, and no one remembers how it used to be, but Shrek accidentally himself into Donkey right away.
I've never seen you before in my life.
Never seen me before. Come on, donkey.
You are a toy! I mean, how do you not know this world is different yet? How is it that there are other ogres? Have other ogres been hiding out during the last 3 Shrek movies? Man, witches be crazy.
And then they disappeared.
F***ing Thanos.
You took the day I was born.
Yes, Shrek signed away the day he was born, but what happened with his mother after the gestation period? Did she just forget she was pregnant, or does this world still operate under the Stork Union? Of course, we know it doesn't, because Fiona was pregnant in the last movie. As the witches chase Shrek through this giant f***ing building, I have to wonder if I can skip
My angry wig.
having an angry wig. Also, angry wig makes you a discount syndrome.
You need to calm down.
Taylor Swift.
You've got a friend.
I've never seen a ogre.
Wait. Sorry. Come on. That worked. No, it didn't. Donkey just runs off, and then when Donkey sees the ogre crying, he's like, oh, jeez. So that didn't exactly work.
That worked.
I've never seen a ogre cry.
Why did you come back, though? You were terrified and took off running.
I was
Yeah.
tricked into signing something I shouldn't have.
Taylor Swift.
Donkey, I've read the fine print, and there's nothing about an exit clause in here.
Also known as the exit clause machina. It's insane that a sneaky magical contract created to totally someone requires an exit clause. Also, just imagine what happens if Rumpel tells his witches to leave Shrek alone and never take him back to the castle. Shrek never figures anything out and simply ceases to exist at the end of a 24-hour period. In many movies, the villain's need for revenge is a crutch for all the stupid things they do to the hero instead of just killing them. In this movie, Shrek didn't even know who Rumpel was when he ruined his plans. They have no real history.
Let me show you how it's done.
I didn't spend all that time around witches without picking up a few tricks.
This is the reason given for how Donkey knows that Rumple's contracts have hidden messages in them, that being around the witches somehow gave him that information. If the witches regularly wrote and delivered contracts for Rumple, that might make sense, but they clearly do not.
According to fairy tale law, if not fully satisfied, true love's kiss will render this contract null and void.
If there's a fairy tale law, wouldn't it also require the contract to contain plain language that wouldn't require a puzzle right out of the Da Vinci Code to read? Also, remember Pinocchio? Rumple gave him a real boy contract with the same secret letters written on it. So if he had signed it, would he have to find true love's kiss too? Also, here's the contract Shrek signed that run enough big letters to spell out true love's kiss. And the letters this thing does use are completely different in some instances. And there's nothing on the back either. The movie suggests that Fiona was in here a super long time because Shrek didn't save her. But in Shrek 2, Prince Charming was on his way to save her, only to find out she'd already been rescued. So shouldn't he have found her? At least show us the charred remains of Charming somewhere in the castle, so we know he simply failed and you acknowledge his existence. I don't know what's dumber, this waffle booby trap that is nearly Rube Goldberg in its complexity, or the fact that this is actually going to lead Shrek miraculously to Fiona. No one will be seated during the Count of Monte Cristo portion of the movie.
Resistance?
We fight for freedom. And ogres everywhere!
I'm beginning to think Shrek's birth caused this entire ogre population to dissolve, because in this world there are tons of ogres. And remember, they wouldn't all be underground in Shrek's old life because there wouldn't be a resistance without Rumple using them as slave labor. Nose horns.
Fiona! I'm so happy I found you!
When is this asshole gonna learn about no one knowing who he is? I think I'm gonna add 20 more sins for this crap, because he continues to do it even more after this, and it is driving me insane.
Yeah, I
know
can see
you
that.
don't remember me, but we're married.
She doesn't immediately exile his ass.
And when the smoke clears... Wait, what's this?
That's my chimichanga stand.
This chimichanga stand thing is much funnier if Fiona knows what it is and it's part of the plan. The way this is done, it grinds all the story momentum to a halt. It's almost as if the writers were saying to themselves, this battle plan is much too serious. Let's give the cook a comedic beat to show that we're still winking at the audience. Shrek is addicted to frogs. Also, that's not how frogs work.
No, it doesn't. And also, does the whole frog balloon thing remind anyone of the 2003 Ang Lee's Hulk movie, where the frog dies in the most gruesome way possible for a PG-13 film? Sorry, I'm not sorry for reminding you of that scene.
Fiona?
Christ, she's the leader of the entire ogre clan and no one is guarding her royal tent. He's able to just pop in.
I have all the cream I can drink.
Once again, for those in the back, most cats in real life are lactose intolerant. So unless you want to cause them to have incredibly smelly diarrhea, stop giving them milk.
Yeah, real quick, it's funny that animals eat specific. When it comes to cartoons, like monkeys eat bananas, cats drink milk, rabbits eat carrots. That's how cartoons work, but in real life, it's not the same thing. So there's that cat milk thing that he addressed. And then there's monkeys and apes. I basically learned that in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, real life apes and monkeys, they don't exactly eat bananas. They eat bugs and some other fruits and whatnot. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if they can and do eat bananas in real life, but yeah, it's just kind of weird that cartoons kind of lie about how animals eat for some of them.
Good for one free kiss. Let's cash it now.
Why hasn't she kicked his ass yet? Or called her soldiers to kick his ass? Ghost grooming.
Oh, this little piggy wants to go home.
How long have you been holding on to that one? If the Pied Piper has a flute with multiple settings, including ogres, why hasn't Rumple used him before?
Plus one taken?
We use that to clean the toilets.
So why is it in a fucking bucket full of weapons then? And if someone's cleaning the toilets, why do they have to go to your training ground to get the proper tool? Yeah, sure, it's just a joke and all funsies and CinemaSins is ruining movies, blah, blah, blah. But you've got to admit, this is a terrible place to store your toilet bowl cleaners. What a terrible message. Shrek's advances are unwanted. He's been a persistent asshole despite being told no many times. And now Fiona is falling for Shrek through their mutual love of fighting. Somehow. Don't try this at home, kids.
Oh yeah, the whole fighting thing. it's kind of funny. There are tough people who are just like stone cold and takes no shit from weak guys. But if the main character like toughens up and becomes a skillful warrior, those tough stone cold women or mentors opens up a bit. Like Shang? Shang from Mulan, okay. Like, he's pretty much a tough guy, even though there were one or two instances where he's like, oh gosh, I can't wait to be the commander and stuff. But when it comes to training, he's pretty much a tough guy. But when Mulan, like, toughens up, he shows respect. Especially when Mulan pretty much kills 1,000 Huns. So, such a thing can happen, although I will admit it is pretty out of place, and they should have more time to develop. But this is a 24-hour contract, and in 24 hours you dissolve, so...
Find true love's first kiss.
I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss.
I'll scout ahead. Wait for my signal.
This is like the Enterprise's captain beaming down on an away mission. No one in this tribe would ever let their leader be the...
I've been dreaming of a true love's kiss.
The main scout. It's too dangerous.
I'm gonna fix everything. The ogres, Rumple, your curse.
How do you know about my curse?
Fiona misses the approaching bad guys because she's got a knife to Shrek's throat because Shrek said the word curse, and this is some contrived f***ing horse.
You don't know anything about me.
I knew everything about you.
Shrek's about to rattle off stuff only someone who truly knows Fiona would know. Or someone who's been stalking her for a while, which is exactly what he's been doing the last few hours. So I don't know why Fiona would think any of this stuff is proof. Somehow, this movie with tons of ogres and this scene of all the ogres dancing sexily to the Pied Piper's music makes me miss the minions. God damn, so many is jealous of this moon's overall girth.
I don't care how big your eyes get, player, it's not going down.
DJ Khaled.
True love's kiss was supposed to fix everything.
True love didn't get me out of that tower. I did.
The main character and the film's ignorance of what true love means and the lack of acknowledgement by all involved is by far the most infuriating thing about this movie.
The kiss didn't work because Fiona doesn't love me.
Jesus. Only took you 45 minutes of movie time to finally figure that out. God. Rumple is offering a reward for Shrek's capture. But how did he put this video together so quickly? I mean, just renting out rainbows is notoriously difficult, even if you're a king.
The kiss didn't work.
This is what Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes thought at first, but then they kept at it, and eventually everything fell into place.
Life was so perfect, and why'd you sign it all the way to Rumpelstiltskin in the first place?
Because I didn't know what I had until it was gone.
No, actually, the reason why you did it was because you didn't know what you were signing. You got tricked. This is a revisionist memory.
Surrender now! Ah, I'm taking you in! Nobody.
Okay, yeah. One tiny gingerbread man thinks he's gonna take up on an ogre. That's like if I decide to take on Godzilla. Unless I'm Thor, I'm pretty much gonna die from Godzilla's atomic breath or any other means.
Smart but me!
You're just gonna leave the only two people in the world who can up your dreams in the same dungeon? Even if you don't think they can reach each other, don't you at least put a guard or something in here until sunrise? I know Rumple's planning for the dragon to kill them, but aren't you taking chances that way too? Why is he making it easier to lose?
Locked up tighter than old Mother Hubbard's cupboard.
Wait, I thought her cupboard was empty. Why'd she lock an empty cupboard? Why'd this guy use an empty cupboard analogy to describe lock security? I'm no fairy tale law expert or anything. I know that True Love's kiss is supposed to break this contract, but what if Rumple breaks it by not giving Shrek his full day? If he kills him, isn't that kind of like not honoring the contract? To accept this Trojan horse ornament ball thing, we have to ignore that Donkey concocted this plan in sight of the witches without the witches getting suspicious or seeing the plan develop right in front of them, that someone was able to roll this thing full of ogres and heavy shields up to the front gate pretending to be a delivery man, that Rumple ordered a new ornamental ball after the old one got damaged and expected same-day delivery. Remember, this movie is all happening in one day. That you can simply make a beautiful ornamental ball out of shields and that you can simply make a beautiful ornamental ball out of shields and in minutes. And for the fact that that was only 5 cents, I'm adding another 500. MCU editing, Batman. What in the holy spontaneous trapeze hell is this nonsense? She isn't kissing him because she loves him, she's kissing him to save his life. This movie sits on a throne of lies. I understand that everything's back to normal, but why did he get to go back before he had his argument with Fiona?
I always thought that I rescued you from the Dragon's Keep. It was you.
fucking end. I'd rather have unnecessary surgery while fully awake than watch any more of this f***ery. Shrek sucks. The end credits of this movie are a series of them mistreating the beryllium sphere.
Yeah, he said Shrek sucks. I rest my case. He doesn't like the Shrek movies. The Nostalgia Critic didn't like the first Shrek movie either, so...
Be the Halloween man.
This is a Halloween mask!
No, the killer dude from Halloween.
Oh, you're gonna die.
Oh, you mean Jason?
You haven't heard the best part?
She's f***ing this Trixie, this golf pro, but she's married to some other guy. And he's the one they pinned it on.
Hold it together. Just hold it together.
Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together.
This wasn't part of the deal.
That wasn't part of our deal, Blackheart! That wasn't part!
Mr. Burgundy, we will be honored if you will play jazz flute for us.
I was looking at myself in the mirror. I wish I had a pot.
And nah. So, Shrek Forever After, especially Shrek 3, had cringe-worthy awkward scenes to watch. And the first two kind of has those, but it was only a couple scenes that I could just skip over. The first two Shrek movies didn't have much cringe-worthy scenes. They have a couple, and they're pretty much watchable and entertaining and fun to watch through, even back then as a kid. And the funny thing is, I didn't watch Shrek 1 much as a kid. I just watched Shrek 2 since I got it on DVD, and I love the special features. And the times that I watched Shrek 1 back in the kid days is when it was on TV when I'm at Dad's. Oh, how the times have changed. Nowadays, you can pretty much find a couple of websites to watch it online, as long as you have an antivirus and stuff, I guess. Not only Shrek 3 and 4 wasn't as entertaining, it has more cringeworthy moments. Like, a movie can be fun to watch, but if you have too much cringeworthy scenes or scenes that makes you feel awkward to watch for a PG film and whatnot, it can kind of ruin the experience. It can either kind of ruin the experience, or it just totally ruins the experience. It ranges. It's like how some adults, like me, don't watch some kids' films anymore because, well, they're for kids and we are adults, and it would feel awkward, especially considering that we were watching violent stuff. Like, it's The Little Mermaid and basically a moment or two with the Disney princesses and Ralph Breaks the Internet. As awesome as it is that all the Disney princesses come together in one film, there was one or two moments that just kind of ruins it for me. Like Penelope singing. It's just cringeworthy. Like, it just... Ugh. Not to mention, if I was like watching... If I was 10 years old, or somewhat less than that, I would probably enjoy it. But as an adult who likes some violent stuff like Rambo and Resident Evil 2 remake, among some other R-rated PG-13 MCU stuff, then I enjoy it. And it can be cringeworthy, or it just makes you feel awkward. There's still a few kids films that I still watch, like The Lion King, But yeah. It's probably a good thing that Shrek just stops. There are some franchises where you just have to stop. Just cancel everything. Just drop the game. It's just not worth it anymore. If it stopped, if you stop at the, there's only so much until you start to get creatively bankrupt to the point where you're just writing the plot and some jokes just can't hold up very well. And Kung Fu Panda is a fantastic trilogy. It's a pretty good trilogy. And it took a few years until a sequel comes out, like maybe 5, 4, 6 years. Like Kung Fu Panda was that 2008 or 6? I forgot the date. And it didn't have a bad note or anything. It's a surprisingly well-made movies, and it's pretty much a good idea to just stop right there. I mean, they pretty much ended on a good note. If you decide to continue and it goes off on a bad note, you're kind of in trouble in just asking for money. There was an Uncharted trilogy. It could have ended on a good note, but they continued. But Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, they were great. They were great games. I'm not sure if they stopped right there, although they should. But the guys that made Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, they got lucky. They were skilled enough. They got lucky enough to make those great games. I'm probably talking a bit long too much, but I think we should stop right there. Yeah, the last 2 Shrek movies, they're not the best, obviously, and they're best to skip. You should skip those movies. That's all the time we have today. Thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing and liking, and take care.